everybody, happy 2023. I hope you all had a fabulous new year and an equally fabulous Christmas festive holiday. Whatever you celebrate, I hope it was wonderful for you. I know we certainly had a fabulous time. And now we're starting at the beginning of 2023 and the very first assignment for Margarete Miller's Collage Weekly Planner Challenge. And I had such a ball last time doing the 2022 assignments that I really was champing at the bit, couldn't wait to get started for this one. So a slightly different format for me this year. I'm not working in a planner. Between Christmas and New Year, I showed you my planner from 2022 that I rebound into an old encyclopedia, and I plan to do the same again this year. So I will be working on these pieces of lightweight card, and as you can see, I've just drawn a border around. Now that is the same size of page that we have in the planners, or Margarete Miller has in her official planners, and this border is the border on her pages. So I'm going to be working exactly the same size format, but you will see it like this. And same as I did for last year, I will be backing these. So this is my first assignment. I will have assignment 2 and I will back them to create my signatures in my journal. But that's way down the line. But that's just a quick explanation so that you know what I'm working on. So I will be working on this today. And the prompts, I've printed out the digital prompts and I've cut them out to this size, and I will be using these as labels in my bound journal in due course. So for assignment number 1, the first prompt is any kind of transportation, and I've got this gorgeous little stamp here of this little red buggy, so I'm going to be using that. A library card. Well, I haven't got a vintage library card, but I do have a library cabinet card, and I was thinking about using that, and I still might, but I've got it here anyway. What I think I would like to try to do something with is a modern library card or a blank one, and as you can see, it's absolutely pristine and it's got its own little pocket. So I'm kind of thinking I'd like to do something with that, but maybe grunge it down a little bit. A zoo animal. Well, I've got this page out of an encyclopedia and I'm going to use these gorgeous creatures, and as you can see, they're cheetahs. Stained paper. I've got some naturally aged paper here. This is some German vintage German book text, and I'm going to be using this. It's got some natural staining in terms of the patina on the page, but I'm not going to leave it like that. I am going to introduce some staining to this in a moment. And the bonus prompt is a sticker. I haven't lifted one out yet, but I will do. The thing that I will be doing is trying to find one that is red so that it picks up the red from my little truck. Oh, and I missed one, sorry. It said your handwriting. I've got an old notebook here, and I have this book here that I picked up by chance in a secondhand bookshop, and I picked it up for the handwriting that's in it because I thought that would be fabulous to use in some of my junk journals. But when I got it home and had a look, I spotted the note on the first page, and this is an anthology by a lady called Doreen West, and she chose pieces in here and wrote them out from 1935 onwards from many books on many different occasions. And since getting this, I've dipped into it when I felt like it, and it is absolutely fascinating. So I thought that I would just find a little piece in here, this little paragraph here by Tennyson in Mariana, and it's entitled The Moated Grange. So I thought I would copy that out. So that's my first job. Now, I don't have the nicest of handwriting, but I'm going to give it a go, everybody. Okay. There we go, that's done. So I'm going to either use all of that or maybe a portion on my piece. And the next thing that I need to do, let's just pop that to one side. I'll rip that off. The next thing I need to do is to create my background. So I thought I would use this as my background, and as you can see it's slightly wider than the border and marginally taller, so I'm going to try and just roughly tear this to size. It's my background piece, and as I say, I am going to stain it, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to do it in a moment or two when I've got my other pieces in place. So I want to see if I can distress this a little. I'm going to get my typewriter out and I'm going to type some information on here, and I've also got a date stamp, and I'm going to stamp some dates on here and scrawl in some random names for borrowers. So I'll be back when that's done. There we go, everybody. I've just created a little bit of grunginess on this library card. I've gone round with some vintage photo Distress Oxide ink. I've just used a date stamp to stamp some random dates and written on some random names, but I've put the 1st of January 2023 in red. And I've also gone round this little pocket here, and this is ready for going on there. I'm thinking of having that just off to the left hand side. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put this as yet, but I think what I'd like to do is try and get that going across the pocket here. Rip this portion away, and what I'd like to do is to get all 3 images in without losing too much, and I'm thinking maybe something like that. I think I'll rip down this edge here. And I am wondering whether or not to take away a little bit more along the bottom so that I can have just the top edge of that pocket showing. See what it looks like without that in there. I was originally thinking that I would use this library card in the pocket and perhaps use these cheetahs, all 3 of them, across the page, having the library card over to this left-hand margin. But I'm struggling with it, in honesty. I've been looking at it, taking away this cheetah here and just having these across and slightly off the edge. But it's not falling into place for me. So what I'm thinking is that it's probably the pocket that's doing it. I like this, and I wondered about changing the orientation of the library card and maybe making it smaller. And I've typed on it "The Journey Begins" because I thought that was appropriate for our start of January 2023. And that's a genuine book by E.W. Parker, and Parker's my surname. So I wanted to actually keep that bit showing. I thought that if I took a snippet off here and a smidgen off here, took away one of the cheetahs, this lovely regal looking one there, I could probably, if I just move that over and just kind of imagine where this edge is going to be, I thought I could have my cheetahs on there, which still would leave the title and the date showing, and then work out what to do with these 2 pieces. Perhaps something like that. Thinking maybe I could get this little truck up in this corner somewhere like that. Perhaps some of my writing across the bottom here somewhere. See what I can do with this. Didn't really want to cover that up. got a lot of writing going on here. That's what's coming to mind. It's fairly busy, and maybe this wasn't the right paper to choose. Wanting to put it sideways for some reason. I really was struggling with using this as my background paper. When I added my own handwriting, it just all looked way too busy. So I tried out some of this handmade paper, which I thought might work, and which I thought I might be able to stain afterwards, which is what I originally planned to do with this anyway. But when I put this behind my pieces, no, just didn't seem right. So I did manage to find in amongst my stash, if I hold this up, you can see this textured paper, and this one's a slightly different texture down there, but it's the same shade of green, which I thought would work much better. So I've layered, if I just lift this off, I've layered them onto my piece like that, trying to leave an equal gap at the top. I've taken the sides out to the actual border, and then I was looking for something that would kind of blend into my piece. Now that's how I had it originally, if you remember. So I was thinking maybe something like that, and that looked a bit too bare, and obviously I needed to come up with some stained paper. So my lovely friend Jeff, you've heard me mention him on my channel, sent me these beautiful background pieces that he'd stained and splattered and painted and whatever. And I picked out a couple of pieces which I thought would go really nicely on here. And what I found was if I put them at 90 degrees like that to each other, and then just laid them on here, so that again I had a little bit of a border of the darker green on either side, and then laid my piece on top like so, I get some of the lovely green paper at the top there. Maybe just pull it down a little bit, I think. And this is where it all starts going badly wrong. If I pulled it down like that and took this image right into the green, the darker green, I thought that it actually made it look a lot better. And I can't get it to sit quite right now, but let me just see if I can do that. So I've got a slight staggering of edges down this left hand side. My little red truck or red buggy is still in that top corner. I've got a band of this green showing below the bottom of the library card, and then I wanted to tuck this piece over to the left so that it wasn't peeping out on this side, because I felt that that transition from this image here was better if it went straight into the green. So that's how my piece is going to go. I think that's the best I can manage this time round. I need to get a sticker on, and because I've got red here, I felt that I needed some red somewhere else on my piece other than down here, because then I've got both reds on the left hand side, which didn't make it feel balanced, even though that is a tiny smidgen of red for the date stamp. So I dug out this washi sticker and I thought perhaps I could use it down there. I played with it around here because I felt like I wanted to soften this edge, but then I liked the truck up there. And then I pulled out this sticker. Now, I actually quite like this sticker for the simple reason that it softens that bottom corner. Yes, it does hide my date stamp, but the greens blend into each other, and it gives me more interest with this jagged edge down there. But I still felt I needed to get some red in, so I'm wondering whether I could do something like, if I pull that down a little bit, whether I could have something like that happening. and that leaves me feeling like I've got a lot of space up there. So if I pull that over, and again I'm being very conscious not to obscure that book title because I wanted to have that on here. So I'm wondering whether I could do something like this. Just have a little play with it for a minute or two. If I pulled that right down, would that work? I don't think it works. If I pull that back up, I'm not... I was thinking it might work there. And actually that isn't too bad, I'm thinking. I think that is about the best I'm going to get for this piece. At least I feel it's more balanced, and it might be a case of actually just getting this in place, all this glued in place, and then just playing with the positioning of those stickers. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So there we go, everybody. That's my finished assignment for week 1 of 2023. Not what I quite had in mind, but yeah, I think it's balanced enough. So any kind of transportation, that's my little red truck stamp up here. A library card, well, here's my made one. E.W. Parker, The Journey Begins. A zoo animal, a couple of cheetahs. My handwriting. I've got a piece of that vintage notebook in the back there. Stained paper, well, I've gone with this beautiful paper that was stained and sprayed and spritzed and stamped and all sorts by my lovely friend Jeff. And bonus sticker, well, I went with this green one and then added a little splash of red on the bottom to balance up the red from the little truck up there. So I hope you like seeing this one come together. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. Maybe I'm out of practice with not having done any over the Christmas period, but I still enjoyed it nevertheless. So thank you so much everybody for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next week for assignment number 2 in our 2023 Margarete Miller Collage Weekly Planner Challenge. So until then, everybody, take care, stay safe, be happy, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye now.